and I don't mind about the skill level. I just want to cast for the community. In the bottom left, however, we do have the Red Terran Caedin, not going for any immediate cheese, and in the top right we have the blue Zerg TGGEvil. Due to the lack of cheese, I do like to speed this up at the start of the game, and we will go until the builds do differentiate just a bit. The puppy now trying to go for my mouse hand. That is not helping anyone. Overlord's going across the map, trying to see whatever they can see, and Barrett's going down at normal timing. He should be getting a gas here soon, meaning that he will not go for that one rat's fast expand, probably some form of Reaper play. Slowing this down back to normal speed, we do see the 15 hatch from Zerg, a somewhat greedy build, but something that I like to do as Zerg. It just feels most comfortable to me. You do want to do that second base as fast as possible. The spawning pool going down though, and he should start his gas soon for those speedlings, so that way any Reaper play or Hellion play can be countered. The three workers on gas definitely shows that after this Marine it should be a Reaper, but he might also go for some form of fast factory play. The world will not. He does go for another Marine, so oh no, okay, he cancels that and goes for the Reaper. That was his plan all along. One Overlord on this side of the map, not in the best location to see things, but he is trying to do his job. He is an Overlord. He had to do something to get to that position, so let's give him some form of credit. The factory going down soon after, either Hellions or some form of Widowmine play could be seen here, or he might just rush for some form of starport play and go into bio. The gas is building up for Zerg. He will start that speed once he gets to 100. The Queens are started, which will deny this Reaper any easy drone kills. Did he cancel the Reaper? Okay, he canceled the Reaper to make the factory. You don't want to do that. He did lose a lot of timing on all of that. The speed is started. The engineering base started for those upgrades. Hopefully not a planetary fortress early on, because that is not helping anybody. I actually, in my very first cast, that was a Masters level game apparently, the Masters Terran decided to build a planetary at his natural, held off against some form of Ling Bane play, and then won the game with Master Ravens. Definitely check that out on my channel if you want. Sorry about the quality ahead of time, but we do see a reactor coming out. Usually you want to make that on this barracks right here, and then switch these out. It just allows you to get that out much faster and allows those Hellions or Widowmines to be made a lot sooner in the game. Otherwise you are down about 50 seconds, I believe, for that reactor, yeah. Second factory going down, however, we will see if he goes full mech, something I like to see. He does start one Widowmine, but doesn't start a second one. Okay, there it goes. He is lacking minerals, but definitely has an abundance of gas growing. He does want to start those upgrades rather soon. He starts missile turrets, but has no reason to, especially not this early in the game. I believe the earliest mutas can hit is about 7:30, and that is if you straight rush them with no lanes. Something me and my friends like to do in team games in Winds of Liberty. So we do have these Widowmines coming out. See if he keeps making those. The command center going down will be made into an orbital and probably flown over after the mule drops. That's the most efficient way to do that if you are a lower level player watching and don't know something like that. The third gas going down for the Zerg as well as the second. I thought this one was already taken. And the Roachwarren. Roachwarren is getting more play in TVZ, or ZVT rather, coming from the Zerg's perspective, but is not very optimal against that mech play if they are going for a lot of tanks, which we do see one tank on the way, as well as the more of these Widowmines, and they will be very effective if any lanes run by or those roaches try to get to the tanks if there is a push. The lair started for the Zerg, and he will definitely tuck into either infestors for that roach infestor comp, with also the addition of Hydras possibly, or go straight into that Spire tech, but the roaches will take some of his gas count, something so important if you are going into Mutalist. The natural only just now being finished here soon for the Red Terran. Other than that, blue is not taking his third yet. Expanding that creep pretty nicely though, with 5 queens overall. 6 if you count the one in his main base. He does need to get those injets going though, so that way he doesn't fall behind in production. Starting that burrow, something I really like to see, and I will make a mention of it every time I see it in these casts. I think it is very underused. He does start that third base, however, and he will be very far ahead of the Terran, who is still on that one base. Hopefully sends out that mule and then lifts off to that natural. He can start that two-base mining. He does have a position of Widow Mines and Marines, so that way he will hold anything that comes his way, as well as the Siege Tank, which is in pretty good position. But you do usually want to keep that just a little bit further back so roaches do not come to the side over here and hit these tanks from the low ground if they have an Overlord or Overseer to see the upper ground. The Hydroden and Baneling Nest is done is on the way, as well as that Roach Speed. He will definitely be using that Roach Hydra composition, which is very strong if microed correctly, but if it is microed into a group of tanks, it will fall pretty quickly. 2 more factories on the way, as well as an armory for those upgrades, as well as those Thors and Hellbats. I always forget that those come with the armory, and those will destroy any Hydralisk they touch, as well as any lanes that are made for any run-bys. He does get the Widowmine upgrade from the armory as well, or due to making the armory, he is able to get that from the tech lab, rather. And that will allow his Widow Mines to be picked up and placed a lot quicker. 3 more being made. He has a mine army, but once detection comes around, he will be in a very bad spot if that's all he keeps making. More SCVs are being made. If we look at the counting station, we see 24 SCVs to 43 drones, and those drones are spread across 3 bases rather than 2, and the second base just going down for the Terran. More reactors being thrown on these factories, but we don't see any actual units besides mines being made, and if Zerd sees this and makes a single Overseer and those Hydralisks which outrange the Widow Mine, then he will be in a very bad position. Lane's going out to check the third base location, it would look like, and more creep being spread. Very good creep spread. You want that to be out there as fast as possible, allowing you for that map vision as well as that faster map presence wherever you need to get to defend your bases or to stop a push or counterattack even. These mines making some form of a slow push. He does have a nice setup here, but Mutalisk coming from the side or any place where those mines would not be would be very detrimental to his play. This mine taking the tower from the lane that was there, and he's still just making 3 more of those at a time. He has 2 unused factories and quite a bit of resources kept up. Another reactor going down on this starport. Hopefully he will use that for some form of harass play. You do not want Zerd to just make drones as much as he wants. You want him to make units so his economy does not get out of control. And being on only 2 base at 12 minutes in the game without making a 3rd command center until just now is not a way to keep on par with that Zerd economy. 2 command centers actually being made at the same time, spending that money, which is a good way to do it. But you do also want some form of units to protect those command centers, and he has 7 Widow Mines in production at a time. I've only seen this in team games where you mass them like this, but not in an actual match. We will see how this works for him. Any sort of form of detection will definitely hurt his chances of winning. And we do already have 1 Overseer out, 2 of them actually. And the Hydra upgrade for speed off creep is about to finish. It just did. An army is being made. He is ahead by about 15 supply, not too massive for a ZVT matchup. The armor is upgraded, or is upgrading rather, but that does not affect Widowmine hits at all, I do believe. They are not affected by anything such as armor or immortal shields even. A single Viking coming out for Terran, hopefully for Overlord scouting, or for killing those scouting Overlords rather. But other than that, unless he just flies those Overseers straight into Widow Mines, he's, well, I mean, he has a minefield and a half all the way up into his natural. That would be terrible to go through if you didn't have some form of detection. Luckily, though, he does. And he sees this, and he's going to take it out, throwing 1 link at a time, or 1 or 2, just to use those hits so that way the rest of his army can go in while they recharge, and he's just going to take out this entire investment as he slowly pushes through. No, not even that hit going off. That one getting some damage. That one also, he needs to take care of this a little bit more efficiently just to be safe. But even then, Terran doesn't have much besides these mines, and these ones can go across the field, but now Zerg has an attack path that is much safer to go through. The +2 ranged attack going down for those Hydralisks and Roaches, making them much more effective against the unupgraded Marines. Really, nothing has any upgrades. He got the armory solely for the Widow Mine burrow upgrade, it would seem. Not very efficient, but 2 more orbitals being created here now that those command centers have finished. And we see this army moving out again. These Vikings might get picked off by the Hydralist if they stay there. One of them is going to fall, and these roaches going into the army without any vision, getting a few nice hits on them from the initial Widow Mines, and 4 more going down at the top of the ramp. Not the best positioning of this, unless he just runs up here without trying to take them out first. More good hits going down. He's just not taking care of these efficiently. You could do this so much easier and not be losing these units, but there he goes, losing yet another roach. This Overseer could even go down due to these Vikings range attack. There it goes. He has no detection with this army now. He will have to fall back or wait for one, but he has literally no gas in the bank, and these mines going down to the bottom of the ramp. But the Zerg did just see that he does have control of the tower and is on 4 bases now soon. He will be greatly outproducing the Terran's 2 bases with only a few factories producing solely Widow Mines and 2 Vikings at a time. A macro hatch, it looks like, should be in the main, a second macro hatch rather, and another Overseer is in production so that way he can clear out this Widow Mine field. Otherwise he would not be able to push into this at all. Some Nidus play or some Burrow play would definitely counter this, but he's just going, oh god, he just ran straight into those Widow Mines without any vision, and he took so many hits on that. That is not how you want to deal with something like this. You want to move in very carefully. It does take a long time, but it is a lot more efficient than just running straight into those. A Spire is going down for the blue, or for the Zerg, as well as with an Infestation Pit, maybe going for those Broodlords, which will take out those mines much more effectively and do a lot of friendly fire to any Terran units. The only problem being in this scenario is that there are no Terran units, besides 3 tanks and 4 Marines. The rest of the Terran army is Widow Mines and Vikings. 8 of those Vikings, 27 Widow Mines. He has more than half of his SCV count in Widow Mines, and those are effective due to the Zerg's way of handling them, which is not handling them. But normally I do not suggest any form of play like this. He is going to be supply blocked soon unless he throws down some of those depots. The Hive is going down now, as well as the +2 armor upgrade, but again, that will not help Zerg at all against these Widow Mines. He definitely needs to find some way to handle those. These Banelings are in a good position if SCVs come over here. Hopefully he does not blow those up at the wrong time. We will see SCVs hopefully transferring over there for the sake of good macro. This base is oversaturated now that these patches have dried up. Still only Widow Mines. These mules might be blown up by these Banelings if he just pits them up and goes over here and kills these. There is no way for Zerg to bust through here without vision. No way, definitely no way for him to come through here without map vision, and he has just been allowing his units to be blown up by these Widow Mines. 7 Corruptors on the way. Those will be made into Broodlords once that Hive finishes and allows for Greater Spire to start. Another hatchery being made, a 5th base over here, still not taking a much easier 4th or 5th base right here. The 4th base is somewhat saturated now. Geysers at all locations, but this one not being worked for some reason. The main base is starting to dry up as well. And more Widow Mines and Vikings. This is the strangest composition I've ever seen, but maybe if he does take out those Overseers, he thinks he can just infinitely push. What if those Corruptors ever come out and do deal with those Vikings before they are made into Broodlords? Then he will be in a very tough spot. The Corruptors are... I thought there was more on the field or being made. He does have 7 already on the field and 5 more in production, hiding them off to the side so that way they are not scanned, and he will start that Greater Spire hopefully sometime soon, I would believe. Since he has just gotten that Hive Tech as well as the Infestor Energy upgrade, maybe trying to get those Widow Mines revealed with that Fundal Growth, we will see. Surprisingly, well, not surprisingly at this point, but still only Widow Mines in production now on SCV. These Banelings, I don't know if they blew up. He has killed 6 SCVs in total, but other than that, not much has happened. These Vikings taking some hits from the Corruptors. They are not going to be very efficient against them, as well as these Hydralists hitting them from the low ground. More Widow Mine hits going down, however, killing a few of the Marines alone by the friendly fire given off by those Widow Mines. More Vikings in production rather than Widow Mines. That's the first time we haven't seen the production tab filled with about 4 to 7 Widow Mines at a time. Greater Spire is going down for that Broodlords, and 4 Overseers are on the way for that vision or stealth detection. 3 more Corruptors are on the way for those Broodlords, and to take down those Vikings, you don't want to make all your Corruptors Broodlords at the same time, because then you will have nothing to take care of the Vikings themselves. Another command center is going down in the natural, hopefully going to take a 4th base sometime soon, make that into a planetary, but against Broodlords that will not be very effective. Baneling's forming over here, and not the prime position to make all these things. Still not a base taken here, even though he has 3,000 minerals. And another spire being made for some reason. I am not too sure of his plan. Hopefully he does have a plan this time, instead of just running into those widow mines. So many of them moving out across the field, and I know a lot of people rage about these, myself included at times. But he's just going to run into these. This is really going to hurt him. I don't know what. Oh, that is not how you handle those at all. And now his army has no map or no stealth detection, and another widow mine hits. And he just loses so much supply there for free. 7 or so Broodlords have been created, 5 right here, and another one on the way, for a total of 6 rather. More Overseers being made, but he really just needs to handle this a lot more efficiently than what he is. His units can take a few hits. Hydras will die in about 1 hit, I do believe. How much damage do these do? A total of 125 and extra damage versus shields. He's going to lose a lot of free Zerglings when he should have just taken those out with Broodlings, and he doesn't have much anti-air now, so that's a bit problematic because these Vikings are in a decent number, a total of about, well, one of them just did die to friendly fire, so we see a total of 11 of them against only a couple of Hydralists and some, well, now there is no Corruptor. These Hydralists are going to take out a few of these Widow Mines, but now they're going to get hits, and there's only 1 Hydra left to defend 5 Broodlords and an Overseer. 3 Corruptors are here, as well as 17 Hydras in production. If we look at the units, the Terran is only down by about 7 workers now, surprisingly, but he is flying these Broodlords straight into a group of Vikings. Even with the Corruptors there, he's taking a lot of free hits that he does not need to be taking. Going back to production, we see only Vikings being made, and of course the now standard 7 Widow Mines in production. Not the army that I would generally see here, but again, not being taken care of at all by this third. He does need to find a different method to take those out. 14 Overlords might be the way to do that, even though I am not too sure, unless he just plans on tanking a whole bunch of those shots with those Overlords, which could be effective. We did see that in I believe DreamHack. Maybe I'm wrong. I might be thinking of just some game I found on a stream, but we will see. These Widow Mines slightly out of position, but so many of them. Okay. I was going to be very upset with the Zerd if he did take any hits from that. He knew that was going to happen. And now the slow push will begin with Widow Mines and Vikings yet again. 6 Corruptors are in production, and he has only 2 to defend this army. These mines will be taken out if they keep going. They might get a few hits off, though. Yes, killing a few Corruptors and the Broodlings. These getting free hits on him still. Not the way you handle that. See, and he just takes more free damage from the Terran. Not the way to handle these once more. You need to have... At this point, I don't know what you would do against this many Widow Mines. You just need to have vision, and you need to not be running into those. You need to pick your engagements a lot better, and you need to hit from places where the Widow Mines are not at the time. Also, something that Widow Mines cannot do is hit buildings. More Spore Crawlers need to be on the field. Losing the drones here, he has lost a total of 6 drones now, I believe, solely from that. Other than that, the Terran has not harassed at all, and has not even used those Widow Mine drops that we see a lot in pro play. This base finally being taken for a total of 7, and these mines still doing damage, but they are hitting mostly Broodlings and doing friendly fire. These Broodlings will take out some of these, but the Vikings now scaring away the Broodlords. Corruptors, a lot of Corruptors, and that 1-1 will finish up for those Corruptors, making them that much more effective against these Vikings that are still protecting the Widow Mines. The Vikings not being upgraded at all, 18 Hydras in production. Hopefully he can use those to a lot more effectiveness than he has with the other ones. Maybe picking off another Viking or 2, 3. He gets all of them, it looks like, but he needs to move. Okay, he does move in time. Only 1 Broodlord on the field, it would look like, or at least with this army. Yes, there is only 1, and he is down a lot of workers now, down 16 drones compared to the SCV count, losing a lot of those Widow Mines, but he just lost every single Corruptor in one blast. Now that is not a way to be efficient with your army at all. He has so many bases, but he doesn't have enough workers. He has a lot of production, but he doesn't know how to use his army. It looks like so far he's just running them into widow mines and taking a lot of unlucky hits. So much damage being thrown down there, and so much area of effect damage that it just killed every single corruptor. Yes, widow mines are good, they are very strong, but when you're going against them like this, this is why people would call them a tad bit too strong, taking out full armies like that. And we have to remember that these tanks are here for any form of counterattack. Even if they are not upgraded, they will still do a decent amount of area of effect damage to any hydras or roaches coming in. They are quite slow off that creep. This army is going to take more free damage and a lot of area of effect damage, taking another hit yet again, losing about 5 hydras that he didn't need to lose in that fight. But he is about to push in here. Widow mines moseying on across the creep. They will take out anything that comes out, but they will not help in any form of attack that the Zerg does throw out, even though he is not going to attack. This base is completely undefended. This base is completely undefended. There's even a drone here to see it. He could even start attacking. All of these drones, though, instead of attacking, well, now he's attacking, but he did just lose all of his drones in that 7th base. A tank just going over here freely attacking the units, and now he's taking out the rest of the widow mines efficiently, sort of, but he is taking a lot of tank hits, finally clearing that up, and now he has free reign over the Terran's natural base and could move into the 3rd very easily. These widow mines trying to do as much damage as they possibly can, but again, they cannot attack buildings, which will mean that the Zerg can win a base race. He is just going to march in here. Will he move his drones? He's not going to move them in time. Everything dies, including the Queen with the final widow mine shot. We have a total of 34 drones killed, as well as 24 SCVs. That SCV count will raise as these hydras and roaches move into the main base. More widow mines being used, but not... well, that one did get a nice hit, but the other ones, I believe, hit Zerglings, which are not too efficient to hit with these widow mines. 7 more still in production. Nothing new here. These widow mines will be moving into the now natural. Again, they cannot hit buildings, these spore callers. The overlords, the drones, everything dying, though. Just... Geez, you definitely want some... Like, he saw this coming. He definitely would want some form of spine crawler out. Even just a few to block against this. The widow mines being killed as soon as they come out now. Once you get into a Terran's production... you do end up in a very good spot. Units coming out 1 or 2 at a time is a lot less efficient than if they are all out like this mass of mines right here. And these are all revealed, but there's no units to kill them. We do see a Barrett's wall going down at the 4th base of the Terran, and these units all being picked off, but the mines going into the main base, not finding anything to kill there besides larvae and overlords. And I don't know, those don't even target larvae. Burrowing them all just to kill one overlord, though. Not the greatest use of those mines. And Zerg has actually cleared out the Terran main base without anything lifting off. But it is just standing here. I don't know what Zerg is looking at. Now he's looking at his army. And the Terran is hoping to do as much damage as possible, now splitting his mines up a bit to do as much damage as possible, but if there's any form of a base race, he can't do damage to those units, which will leave him as the loser if this continues. And it looks like it's going to if this army was moving. Zerg is looking at his base, trying to save those drones as much as possible, hopefully not running into any more of those widow mines. We will see, though. This base completely locked down. This base is locked down by only 2 of these, but if the spine crawler moves into position, it will take care of those. The natural being completely cleared out now. No mines to defend this base, and no mines to defend this base either. Only a giant wall of depots and barracks going down. He is completely supply blocked, though. Three supply drops coming down to make a couple Marines, but 5 Marines will not stand against this much of a Roach Hydra army. He does see those SCVs going up towards the 4th base position, so maybe he will assume that there's a base there, and he also did have that drone there. Still there, it's assimilating with the Terrans, trying to be one of them, but maybe the Marines will not enjoy that if they move a tad bit too close. The widow mine's coming in, trying to defend this army. He has taken down all of the drones, I believe. Only 8 drones left, and he does burrow these, and they get a few nice hits, but the overseers are there. There's not enough to take out the rest of this army. He better micro this. pretty well. He does lose the Overseer. Tearing down only 31 supply. He has a total of 8 Widow Mines, it looks like. 5 of them there, and they're going to get a lot of nice hits. And there goes another one. I don't know where the other Widow Mines are. It looks like we have one here. This one. So that's a total of 7. And there's lucky number 8, just out of range of that spine crawler, but locking down that expansion if any drones did want to transfer there. And still only now 9 drones on the field for the Zerg. 10,000 minerals for the Terran, as well as 4,000 gas. If there's ever been floating, we see it now. I don't know how Zerg will respond to this engineering bay going down, as well as 5 Marines at a time, but they are not even stim Marines 37 minutes into the game. So that will greatly lower their effectiveness. This Widow Mine being taken down, so that means we have a total of 6 on the field. The 7th one must have been taken out at some other point that we did not see. 14 drones compared to 12, 14 SCVs compared to 12 drones, however, and they are making them at about the same rate somehow. Terran can really throw down as much as he wants. He has so much money to spend, and actually is 3 supply ahead, constantly making those Marines, and still has those Widow Mines. I'm surprised he hasn't thrown down. There goes a factory. Maybe we'll see those 7 Widow Mines at a time reappear, but that is not happening just yet. Has enough energy for a stand or two, clearing out that creep and possibly moving into the base right here. I forget what number this is, either the 5th or possibly, no, that was his 4th. So these units will take some damage from the Marines, and since the Terran has so much money, he can just constantly trade. But if the Zerg just got a decent drone count out, he could do a lot with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bases on the map. He could do quite a bit, especially since he has creep everywhere, making sure that there are no hidden bases in the spots that have already been taken out and are basically already mined out anyways. So he knows Terran's on 1 base. Terran cannot outproduce a 7-base Zerg regardless of how many drones he has. Especially only making 5 normal Marines at a time. He could at least invest in stim, maybe making them somewhat effective. If he does use them just to kill the Overseer, though, he will be effective against his army, because Zerg has been known to just run into those Widow Mines in this match. Again, not the most effective way to handle that. These Marines trying to poke out, maybe trying to burrow or bait the Zerg army into those Widow Mines, but nothing is happening just yet. We do see more roaches in production. They do tank 2 shots instead of the 1 for most other units from the Zerg army, so that will make them a little bit more effective against those mines. Finally, some more drones coming out, just now on par with the SCV count for the first time in a very long time. We will see, I would like to see some Zerglings, and they could just surround the Marines and do the friendly fire from the Widow Mines, doing that 40, I believe, splash damage to hit all units nearby, including Marines, if they are near the explosion radius. There comes 1 reactor, as well as another one. No tech lab. Tech labs are apparently not allowed except for on 1 factory. Not a very effective way to play this matchup, but maybe it will work for him. Now down in supply, another drone on the way, some more Roach Hydra, and this base is not mining very much now. 58 drones have been killed compared to 56 SCVs. A Changeling going out. You can tank Widow Mines with those Changelings if they have not been turned into Marines yet, but we do not see that happening. He is supply blocked, and so he will have to make some more Overlords. He's not producing anything. He is going to run into a few Widow Mine hits. Again, tanking those when he doesn't need to. He has the Overseers, and you do see them before they blow up, before you're even in their radius, I do believe. So you have ample time to get away, but he keeps on running into those. Terran producing 7 Marines at a time instead of 7 Widow Mines. Does have the +1 upgrade, but that is nowhere near as effective as Stim would be if he could just get a tech lab and start researching that, if he intends to stay on this Marine mine play. Creep is everywhere. Literally everywhere. I think the Zerg is just doing that for fun at this point. What are you doing? You're taking more Widow Mine hits. That's what you're doing. That is not the effective way to deal with those. Once more, these SCVs, I don't know what they intend on doing. This base is almost mined out, so Terran will have to find some form of income. While running into a bunch of Queens is not that income. That is just losing SCVs. surprisingly quickly for queen damage, since that is so low, but they are on that 2-2-2, or rather that is 2 and 2 plus the anti-air attack that they have, giving them another attack on that bar. 3 Hydras being made. He's trying to find place to put Barretts, but he doesn't have any place for those, especially when these queens will take those out. But this army is moving out, trying to take out the Overseers, so that way they will not have vision, scaring Zerg into making more of those at some point if those are taken out. These Barretts and SCVs will be taken care of very quickly from 3 queens. Queens do not do a lot of damage, but when you have no room to build, they can be quite annoying. He did spread a lot of creep, but this base will go down. Maybe that is what his plan is. He does have a little bit of room back here, now that he has killed the creep tumors, so he could start building more of his Barretts or his now iconic factories and make those 7 Widow Mines at a time. But we do not see that coming out yet. We do see 1 Barretts in production. Where is that? Oh, that's this one right here, and it is about to go down. Not even canceling the other ones, I do believe. So that will hurt his 7,000 mineral count now, slightly. The starport does go down. Maybe we will see something from that at some point. We only saw Vikings earlier. Maybe he intends to go back to that and get those Widow Mines rolling again. But he has lost most of those. I don't know what to think about this. We are 44 minutes into the game and the Terran is on 1 base compared to the 7 base Zerg. Now, he did lose one of those bases. But we do see the now +1 armor coming from Terran. Still, I mean, it's helpful. But if you just got that stim, this many Marines, let's see, a total of 90 Marines could take out this army if they had stim. Very easily, especially with the Widow Mines. But he does not have that stim upgrade. Very painful to see. Only 3 Widow Mines defending his Marines. And they will be on that 1-1, but that is not enough. Baneling's now in production from the Zerg, and that will be very effective if they do fight on creep, which basically everywhere is creep, re-spreading down here, taking out any other production room that the Terran would have. Moving out with a total of 102 now, still producing more and still on over 6,000 minerals. Only 6 SCVs on the map, a Raven on the way too, probably hoping that there are no burrow banelings and to take out that creep so he can have more production room. He does need to figure out a bigger fix to this though if he does hope to win. He has no production room because Zerg has every base that has minerals except for this one. This base has not been touched at all. That would be the prime spot for a new command center. But we do not see that coming out yet. 6 Corruptors are in production, probably going to make those Broodlords, hoping to just take care of any possible Widow Mines that are still in the field that he does not know about, as well as hit this base from afar, baiting the Marines out into the Zerg army. We do see yet another Raven. He's just going to keep producing those, maybe for those Seeker missiles as well. Very effective and a lot less splash damage on the way if those do hit. He does have that Raven to kill those creep tumors. Still spreading the creep even into the Terran base, but those will be taken out now, and that creep will slowly recede, except from this side, where he still has 3 queens producing that. Those must be the hero queens that stopped the evil SCVs from producing those Barretts in the Terran's original base. But we do see the armies getting ever so close to each other, and they both see each other due to that scan. I don't know why exactly he scanned, maybe to see this high ground, but he already has the Raven, so we will see what goes on. 2 Broodlords in production, 47 minutes in the game. This is a very long match. I don't know what I got myself into, it would seem. But these Broodlords being made, 5 Marines still on the way for a total of 121 so far, plus those 2 Ravens and 3 Widow Mines. If those Banelings connected, they could do a lot, but fighting against that many rifles is going to be very hard for them to get through and to do that splash damage on those Marines. And this would not be a good place to fight. They do not have that stim to run away, however, so if those Banelings do connect, they will do quite a bit of damage. The Zerg army, those Banelings do hit on the right side, but that is the end of that. He did lose. He's down to a total of 95, losing about 10 Marines, but I believe he took out much more of the Zerg's army. If we look at the units lost tab, we see that Zerg has, in the end, lost more due to all those Widow Mine hits. 4,000 resources isn't quite a bit when you're looking at 41,000 to 37,000, especially when the Terran still has 4,000 of both resources in the bank, and that is only on 6 SCVs. So we have 9 drones in production, trying to get that economy going. These queens, these hero queens finally going down. Combat Shields started. He does have a tech lab somewhere, but Combat Shields is not as effective as Stim. If he had Stim and a couple of metavats, he does have the starport, he could do quite a bit more. He's not doing that, however. This base is still down. This base could be taken by either player at this point with the creep slowly receding. And those are the only two bases. Well, this base actually, not too mined out. This base does need to have some drones transferred, especially the ones from the extractor that is now depleted. This base being mined out. Terran ever so slowly trying to push in, and they're trying to retake this base. He has creep everywhere, but it will not be enough to stop this army. This army no longer afraid of creep, of banelings. This Raven possibly, yes, it is going to go down, and that will be a problem if he has no other Ravens. I thought he had another one in production. Let's see, we have no Ravens on the map, only 112 Marines in total. Stim started at the 50-minute mark. This is pro level gaming right here. He has 3 metavats queued up. Instead of giving the reactor on one of these Barretts to the starport, he should have done that a lot earlier and then had the Stim started at the same time as the combat shields. This is an upgrade. The Stim patch is an upgrade that you get around the 7-minute mark, I believe. Definitely different from the 50-minute mark. So we see that timing. I will want to copy this build definitely. 40 lanes and more corruptors in production for the Zerg, as well as another base. He is trying to retake this one and get that creep spread yet again, and he will take out this creep. Not really any reason to. He is kind of just wasting time building up that Marine force. He is up to a total of 129 of a single unit, 130 now. We will see if he goes for that 200 Marines after those 6 SCVs do go out, killing the Banelings that come up, but he's in a bad concave. Those Broodlords doing free damage. A Baneling does hit over here, but it doesn't do enough. The Zerg has to keep backing off, and he knows that Terran has no Vikings, so he could make a few more Broodlords. This starport has finally switched over to a reactor. The Barretts that was connected now going to nothing, I believe. So he will have those metavats for that Stim damage that they do, or due to Stim doing damage to the units themselves. So that will be nice to heal those back up. Another engineering bay going down for those extra upgrades. He is on 2-1, or 1-1 rather, compared to the Zergs. Please tell me you're on 3-3. You're on 2-2 still. That's going to be a bit problematic. Hive has been out for a greater portion of the game, and now a drop going down in the main base of the Zerg. Supplies are about even. The worker count, 35 drones for the Zerg, is a lot better than 6 SCVs, and Terran will slowly eat away through his money. I don't know if he even has enough to make Marines up to get up to 200 supply, especially if he's making metavats and upgrades. He will take out some of these macro hatches though. Marines randomly going through the creep. They want to be heroes. They're going to die to Zerglings. They are on that move command. That's not going to be too effective. He does see this base going down and the drones transferring to it. If Zerg loses these drones, he will be in trouble. He does not have nearly enough of a bank to lose this many. The Zerg army trying to take care of this drop. Did that drop die? I believe so. Combat going on across the map. Marines running through the creep, scanning that army, knowing exactly where those Broodlords are. If they stemmed and got under the Broodlords, that would be tragic for the Zerg, who is making 26 Zerglings. He's about to go under those Broodlords. He will kill those very quickly if he does get those hits off. My computer does not like having that many Marines on the map, however. Banelings are hitting, but it's not nearly enough. The Zerg army is slowly being whittled down. Those Banelings from the right side, however, doing a lot of damage. Surprising amount, actually, but those upgrades advantage will definitely favor the Zerg, and he is doing quite a bit of damage to these Marines. That is the Terran's entire investment. Another Baneling getting pretty close, but I don't know if it'll be enough. These corruptors just being shot down. The Zerglings do have to fall back. 24 more in production. Terran still has about 700 minerals in the bank and is slowly getting those back, but not making any SCVs. 2 Banelings on the way. If he had those burrowed and the Terran did not scan, he could take out the greater part of this army. He does lose this base finally, and he is going to push into the natural. These lanes surrounding the initial. Oh, he did get 2 nice hits, but it will not be enough to clean up those Marines. 10 more Zerglings on the way. This is very close. He does have this fully mining base though, completely saturated compared to the Terran's 6 or so SCVs. So if he can last long enough, he will be able to outproduce just a couple Marines at a time. This pack of 8 in the medevac and 4 on the ground will probably do damage to anything over here if he does see that fully saturated base. The baneling nest about to go down. He does want to make more of those banelings. He does have 7 in production, and that will be enough to take care of this army if he gets a decent hit or 2. There they go. There's 1. There's actually a little bit overuse of those banelings. You could have saved one of those, which one baneling usually isn't too important, but when you have 40 to 50 supply at 55 minutes in the game, every unit will count. So we do still have 6 Marines and medevats on the way. Mules coming down for that extra income, but it might not be enough at this point. These drones do have to run away from this base, and Zerd definitely wants to defend this base, but it looks like it will fall. I don't know Zerd's response to this. He has some Zerdlings and some Banelings remaking that Baneling nest, but he doesn't have very many resources left. This base is mined out, basically. This base has a small amount of minerals still in it. He could long distance mine from anything. Anything will give him more income than that, and he does have this base now back up and running. These lanes could run into the main base, the only base of the Terran, and they will get in there without the supply depots raising. And Terran will have to find some answer to this. He could just lift off, but he hasn't been known to lift off his other buildings in the previous exchanges earlier in the match. But the Zerd does run out. He could have easily fought this, especially with those 4 Banelings that he has, losing one of them and using 2 more on 2 Marines, not too effective with those. We will see what else he intends to do, and that Baneling will get a hit on something or other. Probably just going into a building here soon. Oh, I don't know what he plans on doing. This base has been taken out though. 10 more lanes on the way for the Zerd. He has about 150 minerals, much more than the Terran at this point, who only had 6 SCVs and mules for a time. He will have to run away from this many Marines though, with those medevats supporting. I don't know what he intends on doing. He has this fully mining base still, and 6 Banelings on the way. The income from the Terran has dropped to a total of 0, and he has no SCVs. He has not enough money to make another SCV. He does have enough energy for a mule though, so he could get that back up. Taking out the Baneling nest, however. So we do see only 7 Banelings on the field, and that might be the last of them, which might be enough to take out this small army, as long as they don't go in first. He does see all of this. He knows that it's coming, and he will pick up. That is probably the best thing he could have done, otherwise that entire army would have been gone immediately. These Marines stemming across, finding that this base is in full operation. These Marines coming over here to drop behind the mineral lines probably. But these lanes coming, I don't know if Terran will be able to hold against this. If that Baneling does hit, it will do quite a bit of damage being funneled in here, but those Banelings finally connecting. And Terran has lost most of his Marines, if not all. He has 6 medevats to his name, no workers and no mules on the field. It looks like Zerd or Terran could lift off. Terran is lifting off. There's not really a reason to. Creep is everywhere, and most of the bases have been mined out on the map. These lanes will come in here and finally clean out the rest of the Terran base. Only medevats on the field. He just needs to make a single corruptor, and he will be fine. More Zerdlings in production, though, just in case. He knows that Terran can't be anywhere, and he sees this building flying away. He should just be making a corruptor once he gets the money for it. Luckily, he still has drones, otherwise this would end in some form of a draw. I don't know why he's throwing down another Baneling nest. He has the entire production line taken care of. And they finally call GG after an hour-long match. That was probably the strangest TVZ I have ever seen. My voice is definitely going to take a toll after that one. But we do have, we did have those Widow Mines early on, especially the one that hit around here that killed all those corruptors. He was just taking those early game. He took so many hits that he did not need to take, and that definitely prolonged this game longer and longer. And then Terran was fighting a losing battle. He had such a large bank, but those Banelings being very effective once they finally got the hits, and when they hit the clustered up Marines behind this mineral line, that was definitely where the game was going to end. He had a good push, especially with those Widow Mines early on. He was being very effective with them, but eventually he just ran out of time and out of money. And if you blow through 10,000 minerals, then you definitely need to find a better way to invest your money. Somebody will be talking to him about that for his financial advising, but that is not our problem. Our problem is that we have to give a big congrats to TGGEvil for finally pulling through that match. Very, very aggravating, I would assume, to see those Widowmine hits, and I believe there was a small moment of rage somewhere in that game. But thank you for that very awkward game. Very interesting to see that much Widowmine and that many back and forth parts of the match. So thank you for that replay, and GG.